new street, which has been called the West Washington Avenue, Washington Street Extension. And it's come forward again because the DOT has started their I-94 project again, the east-west expansion between approximately 72nd Street to South 18th Street. As part of that project, they will be removing the half of the ramps at Hawley Road. You will not be able to enter the freeway to go eastbound at Hawley, nor will you be able to exit if you were headed westbound at Hawley anymore. So it'll only be half an interchange. As part of the mitigation for that, they proposed this new street. And on the letter, you can see where it starts at the kind of where the existing Washington east of 70th Street ends. It kind of snakes its way to the north, and then heads east and aligns with the northern entrance to the former Roosevelt's grade school. So that's the proposed alignment. We've worked with economic development and the DOT and planning on that alignment. So and DPW, and so this is kind of the alignment that's been proposed, and DOT has agreed to. As part of when we started to look at this project, we noted that there's the 3 streets and the 3 alleys that are all dead end immediately south of the new proposed road. And in talking with DPW, it became very apparent that these 3 streets and alleys kind of cause a hazard or an unsafe condition for not only DPW staff, but police and fire staff as well. When you snowplow or collect garbage, you have to, drive down and then back all the way out, which is unsafe and leaves open potential for accidents. And then also, if a tree or one of, say, 62nd Street is blocked by a tree or, I don't want to say sinkhole, but something catastrophic, police and fire wouldn't be able to get there because that whole road is blocked. So in talking with DPW, we find that these streets and alleys need to be connected for safety. It's also efficient. Backing up is slow. It takes time. So we're trying to look for efficiency and better circulation and safety. The remnant parcel south of the new proposed road will afford the city an opportunity to purchase some land there for connectivity. Engineering has looked at 4 scenarios. There's going to be way more. I'm sure that we can figure out. I included them in the letter. They've been provided to planning, DPW, economic development, just as to start the conversation about how we do that connectivity between the streets and alleys. What kind of land would be left over? What would be developable? What kind of businesses could go in that development? It's kind of exciting to think about, new subdivisions. What do we want there? There's opportunities here for at least 6 new lots and 6 new single-family homes. So on one of the alternatives, so it's kind of a cool opportunity for the city to kind of forward think and decide what we want to do there. So those are also in your letter. The last thing that I wanted to cover today is that the DOT calls it the West Washington Street Extension. It's not an extension of Washington Street. Directly south of where this proposed street is, there's already Washington Street. I don't know how or why that came to be, but we're going to encourage DOT to not call it the Washington Street Extension anymore to avoid confusion. There's a public meeting DOT is holding for this, some outreach on it. If you haven't gotten a flyer on it, you probably will. DOT was supposed to have sent them out last week, but I know some of the people in the area have gotten it and are concerned that their street's getting pushed through straight through the town center, and that's not the case. It's going through the DOT's sign shop property. So we'll have to come up with a new name. So
That's what I was going to ask.
So,
Bless you.
Yeah.
So we will have a new street name in West
It will.
Allis.
It will be a different street name, and what that is, I'm not going to offer. I just caution that we don't want something like Streety McStreet Face or Boaty McBoat Face or.
DPW Drive.
Road.
That would be awesome. I think.
DPW Way.
Yes.
Road.
So.
I already have a Suzette Avenue.
Yeah. So I guess the intent of my letter today, my correspondence, is just to really bring you up to speed as we move forward with some of the planning for the road and some of the final designs. Those will, as approvals are needed, would come forward. But I just wanted to get everybody back on the same table and give you some information on it. So if you have any questions.
Shop is going.
It's going. DOT has made that decision that they are going. They actually have to sell the land to themselves, and then acquire the right of way. Yep. I don't pretend to know why the DOT does what the DOT does, but they actually have to acquire it from themselves.
Any questions from the committee?
No, thank you for the update.
Sure. Sure.
Do we have a date in case somebody's watching and didn't get the flyer?
Next week, the 27th of July,
27th of
I
July?
believe. Just make sure. Let me look at my calendar. Yeah, the 27th of July. It's here at the City Hall.
What were the hours?
You guys are asking way faster than I am.
I have 5:30 and 6.
Yeah.
I don't know which.
I have I think it's 6 to 8.
Okay.
They have it reserved.
Thank you. Okay, is there a motion to place on file?
Motion to place on file.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, been placed on file. Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, we're adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you. Roll call.
Okay, we're going to call Public Safety Committee to order. We met yesterday, for those who are tuning in now, to go over the bulk of our agenda because it was quite lengthy. So what we're going to do this evening, if there are no objections, is we're going to take some bulk motions. And we had items 54, 55, 62, and 65 that there was a motion to approve. Was the consensus? Do we have a motion?
Which ones were those again, please?
54,
Yes.
55, 62, and 65.
62?
Yep, 62.
62 and 65.
And what was,
62,
they were to approve?
Yes.
Correct.
65.
Correct.
Okay.
Let's see, I'll go look at them.
I should have done the corresponding numbers from yesterday's agenda.
65, isn't it?
They're in the same order, but yeah.
Okay, Rebecca, we need clarification, because 65 on here is the non-renewal, but that means it's approved because they paid their taxes, correct? Right. Okay, so that's the clarification. So it would be approved because that was remedied.
Okay. So is it supposed to be 64 then, or?
It would be 62 and 65.
And 55.
So 62, 65,
Yep.
55, and 54.
Yep, 55 and 54. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, Spencer,
Okay.
no, Spencer, no,
I'll make a motion to approve those.
yeah,
Okay, is there a second?
second.
Okay, motion and a second, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. The second item will be a motion on the items that we had agreed that we would hold. Those items would be item 57.
57,
I'll take it a little slower.
okay,
60,
50?
60, 60,
60.
61, 66, 67, and 68.
All holds, correct?
All
All
hold, yep.
holds.
Okay.
Motion to hold.
Is there a second? Okay, motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
I'm sorry, I didn't ask for discussion. I went out of order. Motion carries. Now, there are items that we're going to take separate action on that we had discussed. So if everybody wants to go to item 56.
That'd be Bautista, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, so that was for an application for bartender Class D operator application for Asia Bautista.
Motion denied.
Second.
Okay, discussion. Is there discussion on this?
Did
I
you
believe
want-
there was a point of information that maybe was not presented.
Well, the applicant wasn't truthful with us. She didn't have a driver's license and told us that she didn't drive here, and we saw her leave here in a car.
Okay,
So she lied to us.
okay, so the applicant was untruthful, which would be reason for denial. We had a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. So there's a denial for 56. Then we're going to go to 58 is Darius Salinas. The consensus was to approve with a 3-2 vote. I believe there were a couple things that were of concern to others. So is there a motion for approval or denial?
Oh, she didn't call her.
I
You
go
need-
for denial, move for denial,
Okay.
which would be a no.
Second.
All right, so there is a motion and a second for denial. We'll do, all in favor?
Aye.
For denial, aye.
Aye.
Okay, Alderman Turner?
No, it was.
Okay, so there's 3 ayes. And nays? No. Alderman Turner?
Oh, I'm sorry. I did have a nay on that one.
Okay, so 3-2. So 3 for approval, 2 for,
No,
no, 3 for denial,
2
2 for approval. Okay, next item would be item 59. Haley Schultz, consensus to approve was 3-2.
Motion to approve.
Okay, is there a second?
A second.
Haley Schultz.
Okay, so there's a motion and a second to approve. Do you need a minute, Alderman Ranky?
OWI pending?
I believe that one was corrected,
Crying it.
that was an error.
Okay.
She was what?
Rebecca, do we have a note on that? I believe that Haley Schultz, there was something on her record that stated she had an OWI, or was that Asia?
Oh, that was Asia.
Or Deja,
That
but
was
that was,
Asia.
that was
Okay.
found that she didn't.
All right.
Haley.
Do you need my notes?
I'm sorry, which one are we on right now?
Haley Schultz.
Here, here's all my
59.
notes.
5-9, okay, thank you.
Here.
Okay, so there was a motion and a second for approval. Is there any discussion?
Oh, okay. Got it. Yes, sir, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, do I need to repeat? I've got a motion and a second for approval. Is there any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, it was unanimous to approve. All right, item 63, Michael Krimke Boy, consensus was to deny 4-1. Is there a motion?
Motion to deny.
Is there-
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So unanimous on denial. 64, Brittany Fuchs. There was a consensus, I think. I don't know if I was the only opposing to hold. Due to the circumstances, I'd like to implore the committee to kind of reconsider this. One of the things that would stand out to me is that Ms. Fuchs really didn't have a record prior to this unfortunate situation. And reminding the committee what our role is also to know that any of these applicants, record or not, can bartend. The only thing that offering them a license through our committee is giving them is the opportunity to take responsibility of a behind the bar themselves. So with that being said, I just want to remind everybody of our role in that, and that when we're looking, that we're taking the advisement of our understanding that under statute 125, pending cases cannot be taken into consideration. So holding this item, even if it was an initial plea for this woman, isn't going to do any justice for us to really make a decision. And I don't think it's fair to the applicant or asking her to come and open up what, after already putting her heart on the line, saying what happened, she was assaulted. I can only guess what's happening because she didn't reveal the information, but being she didn't have a record, her reasoning behind wanting to bartend in the first place was actually maybe healing for her. And it may not, I hope it makes sense to others how I interpreted it. But is there discussion? I'd like to hear from anyone on the committee.
I agree with you, different reasons. One being that it was her first appearance, her first time. Unlike some other people we had, she was being honest and very forthright about what was happening. So that pretty much got me to approval.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve.
Okay. Is
A
there
second?
Second.
Okay. So there's a motion
Could we
and a
have
second.
question?
And
Question.
yes,
Okay.
discussion.
Discussion, okay. On the record, it mentioned possession of controlled substance. Could somebody refresh my memory on that one?
I don't believe that is. Are you looking at Brittany? May I see it?
Brittany Hoops.
Okay.
I thought there was just,
I don't have that one.
Oh, no.
Attorney Serwin. Perfect timing.
Great.
Alderwoman Ranky, we're discussing Brittany Fuchs, and there's been a motion to approve and a second. Alderwoman Ranky has a question regarding that there was a possession on her record. I don't have my sheet.
Indicates possession of controlled substance.
I believe that's a pending matter as well. I think that is accompanying.
Was that under the pending or was the officer under the pending?
There's a,
Resisting an officer.
the pending matter has an OWI, resisting, and possession.
So that
Oh, yeah,
hasn't
that
been
is all under the pending. I
decided
found it.
as yet.
It's all pending, and that's something that, based on the nature of the offenses, you couldn't consider at this point unless or until there's a conviction.
Right.
So in the future, if approved today, in the future, you could call her back in for a suspension or revocation, or there's a solid argument right now that you're already aware of generally what that would be. So it can be held to see what she's going to do with it, or you can approve today or deny today. But I wouldn't ever recommend to hold for more than just one cycle.
I see. Thank you.
And for clarification going forward, Attorney Serwin, when we have these instances and there is a request for a hold, the process of the court system is not, I mean, we see convictions that when we're looking at, okay, this was the charge date, and it's a whole year later. So we as a committee have a responsibility to be expeditious in our decision-making too. So I just want to remind the committee of that.
I would agree with that, and we try to process things as quickly as possible, but there's a lot of moving parts.
A lot. Okay.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
And her provisional license expires on August 26th, so you wouldn't be able to hold it past the next
Right.
council meeting.
Okay. So is there any further discussion? Okay, there's been a motion for approval and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, and there are no no's. That's unanimous, so that is approved. Do we have a motion for adjournment?
Motion to adjourn.
Second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.